Want a website with unmatched power, speed, and control? Try Bluehost Cloud, the new web hosting plan from Bluehost, built for WordPress creators by WordPress experts. With 100% uptime, incredible load times, and 24/7 WordPress priority support, your sites will be lightning fast with global reach. And with Bluehost Cloud, your sites can handle surges in traffic no matter how big. Plus, you automatically get daily backups and world-class security. Get started now at Bluehost.com.
This program contains subject matter and language that may be disturbing to some viewers. Your discretion is advised.
Savaged, unfiltered. Your host, Michael Garner.
What's up, Joseph? How's it going, buddy?
Me barely. I just got out of bed at 9:15. I didn't want to do that. I went to bed around 9 o'clock last night, so I got like 12 hours sleep. That still don't feel like enough.
I hear you. I don't know. He might come in. He might not. It's some author, a brand new author that just wrote a book. It's called Letters to William. This guy called David Koll, Koll. So,
Letters to William.
Letters to William.
Yeah. Well, if he does, we could talk about something else. But in case he does, let me go look up that book.
I hear you. I never heard of him, to be honest with you, but he said he's going to come on. So I don't know. I think this is his first session with a podcast. I'm not really sure. I looked up him. I just never heard of him. But
maybe. So
how's your day going?
Is he in a different time zone? Maybe he's screwed up due to
that. Well, he is Central Time Zone, so that might be the case.
Yeah, Letters to William: A Journey of Healing Through the Pain of Estrangement. Interesting.
Yeah, it's quite intriguing because a little bit of it is relating to, I guess, his daughter or something.
Yeah, the opening quotes, "Dad, you will never meet your grandson." So apparently, his daughter, these are the words that opened a soul to a world of anguish. Denial provided a soothing escape for a time. Blah, 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 blah. His estranged relationship with his daughter was indeed going to keep him from meeting his cherished first grandson. Yeah. Oh, it sounds interesting.
Yeah. I'm definitely gonna pick up the teaser, teaser trailer things or something like that. So I might pick it up to see if I like it before I buy it. Oh, here he is. Hey, David, how's it going, buddy? Hello.
Hello, this is Dave Koll. I just got my earbud in. I apologize.
Oh no, it's all right. I had one of my panelists join us, because it was getting close to the time, and I was like, oh man, I hope he didn't forget.
No, I appreciate your patience with my technological difficulties this morning.
Yeah, David, this is one of my regular panelists that joins the show. His name is Joseph M. Leonard. He's an author himself too. So,
yeah. Hey, David, how you doing? I'm on Amazon doing the look inside to take a sneak peek at the start of your book.
Oh, that's fantastic. And would you mind saying your name again so I can make sure I correctly refer to you?
Joseph M. Leonard.
All right. Hello, Joseph. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah, Joseph. I got to go by Joseph because that's what's on my book. Joe is normally fine, but, since I've got a book, I've got to use my legal name.
Sure, I hear you.
I'm sure you understand. Like, you want us to call you David, not Dave.
I will, as my mother would tell me, she will call me everything I need to be called to get me to the table. So I'm okay with Dave or David.
All right.
Yeah. So David, tell me a little bit about this book. I know you got a book out on Amazon. It's called Letters to William. I know it has some reference to your daughter in that book as well, correct?
Yeah, well, the book is what I was not aware of when I first started this process. But and to be very, very transparent, I did not start to write a book. This stems way back through an accumulation of just real difficult marriage, and then having 3 children, and then going through the divorce process. My oldest daughter and I became very estranged, and it was episodic at first. Little bit of break, little bit of break, and then all of a sudden it became larger breaks, and then we were going a year without seeing each other, multiple years without talking to each other, and then she gets pregnant, and it happened to be in a time when we were at our lowest point in our relationship, and I was informed by her sister that you're not going to meet your grandson, and her name, my daughter's name is Caitlin. And she said, you're not going to meet your grandson. And I said, wait a minute, oh, it'll happen. It'll be fine. We'll get through this. This is normal. And
Yeah.
it just, what I thought would be a very short break, I started to get really concerned. And then I had to find a way to be able to release this guilt, this shame, this uneasiness. And so I started writing letters to my grandson who I had never met. And
okay.
And these letters were.
That's great. There are, and we probably should save this for the recording.
Yeah, sure.
And there are a lot of other books that are based on letters people wrote to loved ones that never, they were discovered in an attic later unopened, and books written about them. So, I think that will be a great book. Like I said, I'm scrolling through the beginning here on Amazon.
Yeah, and Joe, you're hitting on exactly the
savaged, unfiltered
motivation was. I would walk by these boxes, and I mean boxes and boxes of letters. I mean hundreds and hundreds of them, and they almost started calling to me, and asking. And I started to become panicked because it was like, what if no one finds these? What if this box just becomes part of the overburden of time and they're lost? And
yeah,
I didn't want that to happen. And so the effective reality is I wrote the letters to my grandson, but the book is written to try to find that one somebody who was like me, who was feeling lost, alone, just in the darkness of this feeling. And so this is not a how-to book. This is not a book that's going to say, hey, take these 10 steps to greatness. I'm not an author. I'm an individual contributor to this process. And that's where it's just been wild, this whole experience.
Well, we should remember all this and start recording. Because this is good stuff.
No, it's all good. We're actually recording right now, Joseph. It's all right. Joseph's actually in Detroit, so he's like an hour behind me. It's 11 o'clock on the Eastern Coast. So, David, this book is basically, like you're saying, it's a remembrance of your experience with your daughter, and then you go into other detail with your book. Did you want to go into a little bit of that? Because I know there's something that's called Grandpa Champ. Where does that come from?
Oh, I appreciate this question. This is a really I'll set it up as brief as I possibly can. I come from a very large Catholic extended family, just big Irish, German conglomerate of just family. And there's always this competition between brothers and friends when we were young. And we were all sitting around one day before we all had kids, and we said, hey, what do you want to be called? Do you want to be Nana, Papa, Papa, whatever? And I said, there was a friend of mine sitting next to me, and he goes, you know what I want to be? I want to be called Grandpa Champ. And I looked at him and I said, that is brilliant. And I go, when you're champ, you become different, you become unique. And this is well before any of my grandchildren were born. And I said, I want to be that space in their life to where they will say to someone, I want to go to Champ's house. I want to call Champ on this. And that gave it a significance that was different, that was differentiated. And at that time, I had no idea. So me and my friend at the time made a bet. Whoever has the first grandkid gets to use it. And so,
Love it.
so I have been to and even when we were in neighborhoods with little kids, they call me Grandpa Champ. Well, I don't feel like I'm that old to be Grandpa Champ, but that's the context of being Grandpa Champ. And William, letters to William, the reference to the book, was my first grandson, first grandchild. So I wanted him to know, if we never met, that he would still be able to get the experiences and the information and the sharing and the who we are and who this relationship was. Because I never wanted it to look like there was a gap. I wanted it to feel like I was always there and his grandmother were always there, and that he lost nothing in the time.
Yeah, David, it's Joseph.
Yeah.
I think that this is an important book, and I think and hope for you that it will do well, better than you expect, because this can be an important book for any fatherless child. Someone who doesn't know their father for whatever reason, even though it's written from a grandfather perspective. I think that can help heal souls of those who may not have a father in their life.
Oh, Joe, you're giving me that classic sort of affirmation goosebump. And I say this a lot to people when they ask is, hey, I heard you wrote a book. And I said, well, I wrote letters to my grandson, but I wrote the book not for everybody, but for somebody. And that just as you're saying, Joe, is it's an estrangement of self, it's an estrangement of family member, it's an estrangement even of potentially faith.
Yeah, I think it's important, David, and, by the way, I want to thank you for being part of this special panel we're having today on Savage Unfiltered. Especially today especially times, there's a lot of fatherless, families out there. And I think that's what they're struggling. They're getting the love from the mother. I just had a conversation with a friend of mine earlier today. And I said, I think the problem with the society today is that, this next generation of youth is getting the love from the mother, but they're missing that other concept. They're not getting, the morale and the, common courtesy that's supposed to come from the father. And we're not seeing that today. And you notice how a lot of kids today grow up, to be, drug addicts or, common thieves, or sometimes relate to homelessness. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's such a good point. And if I could just jump in real quick and share a quote from my dad. My dad would always tell me, he would say, David, and there were 6 of us kids, and we always were referred to by our middle names. So he'd say, David Bruce, I want you to understand something. Your mom is here to make a good boy. My job is to make a good man.
Yeah. Amen.
I couldn't agree more on that one. So by the way, I am Saslin Timonson, part of the co-host with Savage Unfiltered. I was just kind of listening to the conversation. I think it's very important that the book just writes to people that are trying to look for that father figure and they can't get it because we have a twisted generation that's after the.
Uh-oh, we lose Saslin.
I think he was there, but I lost him too.
Yeah, David is Joseph M. Leonard again, author of Terror Strikes Coming Soon to a City Near You. So, I understand that my book is not really only about terrorism, and it's not about death, but of life and living. So, like I said about your book, it may be for a lot of people that may not understand or know that it's for them. And thankfully, Michael Gardner and Savage Unfiltered will help you get out the fact that this is for so many people, people who never knew their father, or if you're a father who has an estranged child, maybe how to reach them. What what is a lot of the content, gist of some of the content of the letter? Are you trying to engage from a point of faith, or are you trying to teach something, or kind of the gist of maybe a couple of the letters?
Yeah, I think it's another great question because
it's time.
We've got a global fan event to launch.
Drum roll, please.
Are you ready for Tudum?
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Today I get to share a special gift.
It's happening.
Coming at you right now.
Tudum is back.
Let's reveal some steamy secrets, shall we?
Sabemos lo que dice.
I'm very excited for you guys to see it.
I'll meet you there. Check out the news you've been waiting for.
Get ready for some action.
Bonjour, Tudum.
It's time.
Chegou a hora.
Let me tell you what you're about to witness.
I'm so excited to introduce my new movie.
A lot of blood, sweat, and tears went into making this. Here's a sneak peek behind the scenes.
It's very exciting, you know?
Yes.
Hola, hola.
Thanks for joining us.
Let's get down to business. It's happening.
It's magical.
Se viene, gente. Se viene.
I'm into it, babe. I'm into it.
Go time.
Take it away.
Get ready to have your world turned upside down.
I'm ready. Are you ready?
Ready.
Ready.
Because we're sounding the alarm. In 5,
4, 3,
2,
1. Positions, everyone.
We got this. Right?
if I render it back and get to how I started this process, initially it was just a cathartic release, right? I knew this feeling emotionally was a very difficult one to process because I felt guilty. I felt like I had messed up. I felt like I felt ashamed. And these are real feelings. And I'm not a counselor. I wanted these letters to not be protected and choreographed. I wanted my pen to find what truly was inside of me. So when my grandson or whomever would find these, they would feel that there was the authentic reality of where I was and where we were in this journey. And I think too often people are encouraged in today's world and with our social media to if you don't like something that's toxic, just delete it, throw it away, push it away. You don't need this in your life. Now, granted, if there's physical abuse, emotional abuse, and all these other things, sure, get distance, get away. But we are way too quick to take what is the network and the fabric of our existence, which is family, and allow the family bond to be treated as if it's just another favorite on a social media site or another follower. No, a family is not a follower. A family is part of your internal DNA wiring. And so the gist of these letters were really about trying to keep that storyline. And it goes back for me to ancient times when stories were told to family members and retold and retold. And what I wanted to do with these letters with my grandson is, hey, there are stories in my life and in my existence I want to let you know about. And a quick example is the day you were born. We always know the day of our death, but we are never really sure as human beings. What were your mom and dad dealing with when we were born? What was the situation? How were they feeling? What was the environment? What about marriage? How did you feel? What did you feel? All these things become superficial in our awareness. I think about my own parents.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, David. I mean, you're hitting some good spots, and I do want to apologize on Soslin. He's probably having some connection issues. He resides up in Wisconsin. I have a couple of panelists that join on the show here, and it's great about this digital platform because we can all over the country. Myself here in Florida, Soslin in Wisconsin, and Joseph up in the Detroit, Michigan area. So what you're nailing on some really, really good thoughts. And I was reading a little bit about your bio, on the website, and then also through Amazon as well in the book. And I have to say, I'm highly impressed, sir. Highly impressed.
Would you mind? Because here's what I always, maybe it's just classic imposter syndrome or poser syndrome. I've always laughed when people, I get letters or somebody will say, wow, you really did this. And I'm like, wow, I don't know how to respond sometimes other than appreciation and thank you. But I also feel part of this conduit reality of I want, and I truly, truly believe this. There are, if we can connect someone who feels alone and feels lost, or there's a relationship that they are just, that they have effectively become hopeless with. I say in the book, a prayer will find its intended destination, but you just got to leave the door unlocked. And to Joseph's question, is this a faith thing? I do reference faith a lot in the book, but I also say in the upfront of the book, the last thing I'm going to do is try to convert someone. The last thing I'm going to try to do is try to encourage something that I believe I'm right and you're wrong. That's completely not the essence of this. But I do believe that whether it's whether you call it prayer or feeling or any of the other avenues, I say, hey, we're all going to eternity one day, and any road, and a lot of them are going to get you there. There's every one of them.
So, absolutely. And, if I may add in, that's kind of, you mentioned something just briefly, with, it's the little things in life we have to appreciate. I first met Joseph here earlier in the year, and, I brought him on. And when we were talking, Joseph, I was very intrigued behind Joseph's book. Joseph's book's a little different. It's mainly, a political book, but, just the background with Joseph, a tremendous individual, very highly intelligent, intellect type of guy, Joseph, I may add. But David, I get it. I really get your background. I think what you're trying to bring into your book is it's bringing it's gonna bring an audience. I truly believe that.
Yeah, and David, Joe Leonard again. And thank you, Michael, for those very kind words. And David, yeah, my book, dealing with terrorism. Obviously, you have to deal in the faith because the faiths are attacking each other. So my main fictional character in my historical fiction book is a Christian, and so I deal with faith too, but not trying, like you said, not trying to recruit anybody or convert anybody, but provide a basis of, because a lot of the faiths are under attack, and this is what a person of faith really is like, despite what you may have heard, to someone who may need to hear that. And I think that kind of comes out in your book here too. But as a fellow author, I've got a question Michael probably wouldn't think to ask, but I am very curious. I see that you are on New Degree Press. I'm just wondering how it is you found them, why you decided to go with them, or how has your experience been with New Degree Press?
Another story within the journey, right, is in my bio, readers will see, or whoever will see, that my profession is business. I'm an author in businessman's clothes. My whole days are spent typically solving problems, finding opportunities, just like most classic sales solutionists, right? Well, in this process, I happened to be talking over coffee with a friend of mine, and he mentioned, hey, I'm going to be writing a book. And I'm like, wow, all right, what are you going to write about? And he started to tell me about it was going to be a business book. And he goes, hey, listen, you got a lot of great anecdotals. I could use some of your stuff in my book, but you should also write a book. And I said, no, the world does not need another business book. We got enough of them. And they all just steal from another idea and repurpose it, in my point of view. Not to cast aspersions, but I read a lot of them every day. So he said, well, if you ever think about it, there's an organization called New Degree Press, and it's out of Georgetown. They partner with Georgetown University, and they do a hybrid self-publishing solution. to where they work with their university students at Georgetown. Half the class, half their waves that they send through this program are actual students, graduate students in Georgetown that will, at the beginning of the class, will start and finish with a final copy, printed copy book. And they also go out and look for non-traditionals to fill in the other half of the book. And this individual who I was talking to said, hey, if you ever think about it, let me know. And then I, for the first time, said to this individual, well, here's my idea. If I ever did do it, I would love to write a book that captures the letters I wrote to my grandson. And I went through and summarized the purpose and the passion of why I did it. And he said, I will call him tomorrow and you're going to talk to this guy because there's something here that I feel that would be beneficial and different. And so I got in touch with the New Degree Press, Eric Kester, and he reviewed, or kind of talked to me, interviewed me, and said, this is something that's intriguing to us. We would love to have you part of the program. And he put me into, as a non-traditional, this program to where you get all the editing, you get all the development, and you get all the support that goes through this process, copyright editing. And then that's how I got hooked up with New Degree Press. Was that conversation led to a question, and that question opened up the door to an opportunity.
David, if I may add, because we're gonna conclude here soon. This book here, I see it going into series. Have you thought about making this a series part of your book at all, or is it just a kind of a one book type of scenario?
I tell you, I'm unprepared for the question because, to be very, very honest, but I am getting a lot of requests coming back through the network, through the social media, through readership that are saying, hey, are there more letters? Well, yes, there's hundreds and hundreds of more letters that didn't make it into the book. But there's also an opportunity to where I'm looking to, how do I elongate this connection? How do I, and I have, again, I'm coming from it from a very, very honest and open.
Oh, sure. You're going to get a lot of reactions. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. You just have to, pretty much, I guess, see through some of those reactions, because they're going to be mixed reactions, obviously.
Sure, sure. And that's what I knew. I had to put this on the table and to be fully open to any sort of feedback loop, because, as I said, I did not write this book for everybody. So some may say that's horrible. I would never get back together with my abusive father. Good. That's what you shouldn't do. However, where should you be for the others who are looking to improve their estrangement of self, of spirit, of family, or even friends? And so this is, to me, an opportunity, and I open anyone who can help me in that journey. That's what I leave that prayer point blank out on the table to say, I have no idea where this is going, but I am fully open to the possibilities myself, because there's just too many dealing in silence and suffering in silence and feeling this like there isn't a path out. And I'm convinced that if they can just find and open that door a little bit, that you'd be amazed at the possibilities.
David, if I may add, this is, I think you're a phenomenal guy. You sound like you're a really nice guy. Is this your first book that you had published?
It's the first book ever. I've never published a book prior. I've never thought about publishing a book prior. I love writing, obviously, and writing whenever I can. I love reading a lot more. So yes, this is my first book. And when I first started putting this concept together, the editor was saying, well, this is going to be more of an epistolary. And I said, I have no idea what that means. So how does that all come together? I'm excited about it, and I'm just humbled by the experience, and truly humbled to be able to share this with both of you and others of your listeners, because I believe there's an opportunity.
Yes, sir. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring Joseph on the panel here with us, because he can relate so much. He's an author himself and a writer of his book, and I mean, you guys can connect in so many similarity of ways. But David, it sounds like you have a hidden talent there, with writing books, and I hope to see some more coming out of your name.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. I've got a few ideas. There is a letter there's several letters that could be potentially expanded, and there's also the follow-up of, okay, now what, so what? Where are we? How do you continue? What's the motivation? At the end of the book, yes, we do reconcile, my daughter, and I do meet William. So it's not a spoiler alert.
That's amazing.
It's not all horrible, although there will be several letters of difficulty and honesty. But at the end, we do find each other, and we do meet, and it is remarkable, and it's amazing. And that is that power. And so I just can't thank you all enough for allowing me to be here and to share it.
Yeah. Well,
it's an honor. Yeah.
Yeah. This Joseph again. You were saying you don't really consider it a self-help book, but I'm looking at your classifications. Your number 475, which is a darn good placement in dysfunctional families books. I never knew there was such a category. 2,900 in Christian self-help, and 6,700 in personal transformation self-help. And people, please don't think being 6,700 in a category is bad. It's not. It's really, really good, because there are hundreds of thousands of books in every classification and category. So it is clear, at least based on Amazon rankings, that people are indeed interested in this book.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
And insider tip too.
I love this Rakuten app. Look at that. I open the app, find the store that I want to use, start buying, and gets me tons of cash back. I just got paid to shop.
My favorite thing about Rakuten is just getting money back in the mail.
I mean, who wouldn't want cash back?
Sign up today and get cash back at
Amazon and your ranking, because at any point, if you ever hit number one in any category, you want to take a screenshot of that, and then guess what? You get to declare yourself a number one bestseller.
well, I when you were telling me that, I'm like, man, I got to go out and look at some of this stuff.
Yeah, David, you got to take the suggestions and advice from Joseph, because I mean his book right now is doing phenomenal on Amazon, and that's a good thing. Make sure you take that screenshot, because if you put yourself in that particular category, it will set your book to like high wonders. So. But David here, I want to conclude here on the show. I want to thank you for being part of the Savage Unfiltered podcast with Michael Gardner and Joseph here. Is there anything that you want to conclude here, where they can find you, and possibly any other links, sir?
Sure. And first, let me say thank you to you both, and thank you to the listeners who are giving up the most precious commodity they have, which is their time to listen. My ask is simple. The book, yes, is available out at Amazon or anywhere books are sold, right? But for me, there's over half of all families have some form of estrangement or some form of break or any relationship that my ask is, if you know someone, direct them this way. And again, whether it's my book or any other, be there for them. There is a lot of opportunity for us to become better than we were the day before, personally, professionally. And I just believe that if we can reach a hand out and say, hey, I heard a guy talk about this, or I was on this show and I was listening to this show, just share this thought and be open to the possibilities. And that's what excites me. So we have an Instagram, Your Grandpa Champ, and we've got those platforms that are easily readily available, and I'm very poor at selling those. But for me, it's about bringing a connection and bringing that bridge to someone who's feeling lost, and that's what I believe is the power in the end of this.
That's awesome, tremendous stuff. Thank you very much once again, David B. Koll here, folks, on the show, expressing his book. Letters to William. Thank you very much once again, David B. Koll, for joining the show today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.